Hello and welcome to Perspectives for April 19th, 2016. Canadian religious leaders held a joint press conference this morning on Parliament Hill to outline their objections to the newly proposed bill on euthanasia. The five faith leaders were joined by Dr. Caroline Girouard of the University of Montreal. Recalling the long history of faith-based groups providing health care, Cardinal Thomas Collins of Toronto said Canada would be a much colder, harsher country without that. The leaders all pointed out the proposed bill does not include any protection of conscience rights, leaving those to be set up by the provinces instead. As well, they expressed the concern that, as outlined in the bill, it could become easier to get help dying rather than good palliative care. Our team was on Parliament Hill and they spoke to Cardinal Thomas Collins of Toronto.
I think the bill itself, I don't think that it's a good thing and we should just add conscience to it and it'll be okay. I think that the whole direction of having a law with euthanasia and the Supreme Court decision is profoundly mistaken, and it's leading us down a very dark path. But if they're going to put this thing through, I mean, one thing, if I don't control the Parliament, if their Parliament's going to put through a law, the very least we'd expect is that while profoundly disagreeing with the law itself, that there be at least conscience protection if this is going to be put into our country, made legal in our country. I think also we need to have, if the government's going to be launching this law into our country, another issue they should look to is palliative care. Because if people are given real palliative care, I think that is the solution to the issues that are supposedly being solved by this law.
Also in Canada, Pope Francis has appointed a second auxiliary bishop for Montreal. Monsignor Alain Faubert is the new auxiliary. He had been serving as pastor of Saint-Germain Parish in Montreal. There is no word yet on when Bishop-elect Faubert will be ordained. Turning to Ecuador, 6 members of a women's religious community have been confirmed dead as the result of a 7.8 magnitude earthquake that shook that country over the weekend. The servants of the House of the Mother, a Spanish-based congregation, had a house in Playa Prieto, where the worst of the earthquake was felt. The sisters had a 4-story building in Playa Prieto, which served as their home and school. Sister Claire Crockett and 5 postulants were found dead under the rubble 36 hours after the quake. 5 members of the community, including the superior, were rescued by neighbors shortly after the building collapsed in the quake. It is believed Sister Claire was trying to lead a group out of the building when the stairwell collapsed around her. Homelessness is a phenomenon that can affect anyone, young, old, man, woman, even families. In Washington, one Catholic school puts faith into action by educating students about what can lead to homelessness and how they as a community can help. Catholic News Service has more.
When it comes to homelessness, kids are confused, and I'm confused. How did this happen? And why can't they just get a job? I see there's lots of stores opening, why can't they work there?
Every year, 3rd graders at St. Anthony Catholic School in Washington raise money for the homeless. The money they collect is given to Mary House, a local charity that shelters families in need.
We discuss poverty and how it affects on a global scale, and then also very much how it affects Americans, and a lot of Americans. So even here we did the whole 99% versus the 1%, and we discussed that, and we acted it out and role played, and they did a lot of skits about it and became very in tune just with what it is. And I suppose a lot of children don't really understand that there are children who might go to school and still be homeless, that people are unaware of other people's circumstances.
We have to explain to them there are many causes of homelessness. Some that we know of were addiction or mental illness, or sometimes you could just be down on your luck. Stuff can happen. You get into a rut or illness. The family that we're helping personally at the moment, the father has terminal brain cancer. He was working until he couldn't. His wife was working until she had to care for him because they couldn't leave him alone. Well, now they're in Mary House. One thing led to another. The savings quickly went, and here we are.
And that's all for Perspectives today. If you're watching on our television network, please stay tuned for the rest of our broadcast schedule.